Hello, welcome back. It's that time of year again where we sit down to take a look at the upcoming MMO release schedule. Just a little sneak peek at all the games that are sure to disappoint us in 2025. Jokes aside, the focus here is going to be on the MMOs that are currently confirmed to release this year. I'll also touch on some of the other titles that are less certain but could possibly release, and we'll go over the various planned alpha, beta, and other playtests that are coming this year as well, which, while not full releases, could provide an opportunity to play an MMO you haven't played before. Okay, let's start with the games that, as of today, have confirmed release windows for 2025. First up on the list is Chrono Odyssey. The most recent information is that they're planning to run a closed beta test in Q1, sometime within these next few months, followed by a full release scheduled for Q4 2025. This info comes via the IR reporting from publisher Kakao Games, released last November, so it's relatively up to date. Beyond having all the expected traditional open-world MMO features, the game uses real-time action combat with basic attack, defense, and dodge mechanics. Combat also utilizes a weapon-swapping mechanic, allowing you to alternate how you hold a weapon, either in one or both hands. There's also a special mechanic called the Chronotector, allowing you to freeze time, rewind events, and explore alternate timelines. 6 confirmed classes come with 2 particular weapons each. Combat looks to incorporate a lot of the features we know and love from MMOs. Next up is Dune Awakening, scheduled for release in early 2025. This is the open-world sandbox survival crafting MMO developed by Funcom. Building upon the foundation laid with Conan Exiles, the game is going to be set in the Dune universe. Expect all of the basic survival crafting features: gathering resources, making items, building bases, crafting gear, exploring, taking on enemy camps, and engaging in PvP. The explorable spaces take place on the Dune planet Arrakis, with 2 massive open zone regions. Haga Basin is said to have around 100 hours of content, and the endgame zone of the Deep Desert is where late-game progression and large-scale PvP takes place. You'll encounter points of interest, public events, enemy strongholds, desert testing stations, and more. They've even got the iconic sandworms of Dune. Next, let's talk about Anvil Empires. It's a massively multiplayer game where thousands of players work together to build empires, wage war, and conquer in a persistent online world. You play as an individual soldier in a massive medieval army. This isn't a traditional MMORPG experience. It's more like playing as a foot soldier in Age of Empires. The developer's prior game, Foxhole, had a similar concept, but was set in World War II. Just like Foxhole, Anvil Empires will feature large-scale conquest taking weeks to play out. Custom server technology enables up to 1,000 people to fight shoulder-to-shoulder in real-time melee battles. Settlements grow from small hamlets into large towns shared by hundreds of players. There's also an ongoing beta test right now, which you can sign up for via their Steam page. Also, there's Fellowship, which is another game modeled after the MMO genre, although it's not a traditional MMO. Entirely focused on MMO-style dungeon runs, you pick from a variety of pre-made characters, each with their own playstyle and skills. You form a group filling all the traditional MMO roles and enter MMO-like dungeons to clear them. Think of it as taking the World of Warcraft Mythic Dungeon system and spinning it into its own game. They refer to it as a multiplayer online dungeon adventure, or MODA, in a fantasy setting with endlessly scaling dungeons. You'll focus on working together as a team to defeat bosses, collect loot, and overcome challenges. Fellowship is currently slated to release in 2025. Another game, Ashes of Creation, has alpha testing underway. People have been playing it for a little over a month now. Reception has been mixed, with some saying it's incomplete, while others are thoroughly hooked. It's available for over $100 at the lowest cost. Most of the leveling consists of large scales, groups grinding elite mobs together, but the PvP seems fun. If you want to play early, it's available, but unless you're super pumped, I'd recommend waiting. Pantheon Rise of the Fallen launched into Steam Early Access last month and has surprisingly positive ratings despite its dated look. It's seen growth in its daily concurrent player count, probably due to positive word of mouth. Although the combat looks quite boring at first glance, there seems to be something interesting getting new players to jump in. I'm willing to give it a look and hope for the best. Soulframe, from the developers of Warframe, is currently running alpha tests called Preludes. The explorable space includes open-world exploration, enemy camps, and procedurally generated dungeons. I enjoyed my time playing it, although the combat feels floaty. The world, enemies, characters, and overall structure are solid, hoping they can improve the combat to give it a stronger sense of impact. ArcheAge Chronicles was initially slated for 2025, but has been delayed to 2026. A closed beta test is planned for later in 2025. They are planning to include all the best systems and features from the original ArcheAge, but on a modern engine with more PvE content and action combat. This game is on my list, despite the risk of heavy monetization. Monsters and Memories aims to provide a modern-day version of old-school MMOs like EverQuest or Asheron's Call. It's set for an early access launch in 2026, but beta testing is planned for July or August. It matches the nostalgic vibe perfectly. Some other MMOs confirmed for 2025, like Ashfall, look regrettable. When I played this last year, it felt like a mobile game port, very basic and not polished. I might play it again, but don't expect much. There's also Project LLL, an open-world looter shooter with some gameplay shown, but no concrete launch info. Don't expect these in 2025, but keep an eye out for potential announcements. That covers all the new MMOs or MMO-adjacent games launching officially in 2025. Quite a few playable MMOs will get playtests this year. Thanks for listening. As always, let me know what you're looking forward to in the MMO sphere in 2025. There are sure to be some disappointments, but plenty of new MMOs to play this year. Can't wait. See you next time.